All right.
All right. Welcome to. Let me try that again, okay? Hey, I listened to us. Welcome to Thoughts. Oh, God.
Okay.
Why do people need to welcome me?
Top of show, take 3.
Okay.
Andy, places.
I'm ready.
All right, quiet.
Hold on a second. I need more of this.
We're rolling.
And 3 and 2.
And OCD. And action.
Good evening.
Hi, Andy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Didn't seem any better that I was prepared and conscious during
let's
it.
go back to 1.
Okay, let's go back to 1.
All right, back to 1, people.
65 degrees downtown Los Angeles. You're listening to the ThoughtSpiralShow.com. Hey, don't forget to give to our Patreon. This month, a minimum of $15,000 will get you off our backs for 6 weeks. All right, don't include that.
Insane. All right.
Maybe it's a bad night. Maybe this isn't.
I don't
the
know.
night.
You can't. I don't know.
Hey,
you committed.
Josh.
Okay.
You told me it wasn't my night.
Okay, now he's committing to an impression.
You told me it wasn't my night, right?
All right.
It wasn't my night.
Not your night.
I could have killed whatever his name was. But now no more because I'm a bum.
No, it wasn't your night.
No. And I'm a bum now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I shouldn't go into impressions. Hey, by the way, I have not smoked pot all day today.
Good for you.
But is that good, though?
I don't know.
I think you have to give it. You have to give it more than one day.
You do, definitely.
I'm not going to. Because why, after this, what am I focusing on?
Right.
I listened to some of our show.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. By mistake, as always.
Of course.
Because it's in my queue.
You're just used to hearing your voice in your head, and suddenly went, oh, and there's another one, too.
But I was very, very happy with it.
Oh, good.
I only listened to 12 minutes because I'm very busy.
I understand. Was it this week's?
It was the week before this week's, which would be last week's.
Gotcha. Well played.
Is Well Play ever going to... I hope Well Play goes away soon.
Never going to get as long as I carry the torch for it.
Well played, sir. And also, I wrote quite a week for me. Quite a week.
Yeah.
So many great things have happened for me and opportunities.
Excellent.
Have come across.
Yeah.
By the way, I was looking online and my favorite murder people...
Yeah.
They have 19 million downloads a month.
All right.
How does that compare? Now, that's added up for the whole month.
Right.
All right, so we've never given the whole month figures before.
That would be... They're more.
There's more than us?
They have more, yeah. I had to look.
Well, I've seen Karen. She's not dressed any better than she used to. I mean, if I was making that kind of money, I wouldn't even be doing some clubs.
Right.
Well, I guess you don't make 19 million.
I think I bet we gained 50,000 listeners just we changed the show to Murder Spiral.
Well, that's the thing. That's it. What we're doing is not hot off the press right now. It's not, true crime is not. Oh, God. Okay, calm down, Andy. What's my name again? I see not garbage, but there's stuff I can go through over here that's within my reach on the table.
Yeah, please don't.
Don't. Yeah. Why would I go through people's stuff?
I don't know. You're like that.
Well, I had a very nice week, Josh.
You're not big on boundaries.
No, I'm really not. I'm really not. Like, for example, let's say we were 2 Jewish people and we met, right? And we met.
Okay, I need a minute to get into that.
Well,
character.
think about it. Okay.
Okay. 2 Jewish people.
2 Jewish people. You're Josh.
Okay.
Hi, Josh. We're first meeting.
Hi, Andy. Oh, no, I don't like that take.
Well, it's the first time we're meeting. We're meeting at a party. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
What do you make a year? How much do you make a year? And what do you make exactly? That's that's the way I roll.
Exactly.
That's the way I roll. People don't like it.
The lack of boundaries sketch.
Hey, can I sleep with you and your wife in your area? That's not boundaries. That's just sickness. That's a sickness.
Yes.
So, what a week it has been.
Yeah.
First of all, I know that I don't want to tip it, but I'm going to tip it.
What are you tipping?
That movie could have been made yesterday. That movie, after that movie was over, I turned Susan in to the to the swasher waffer. Oh my God. That movie, it's over for me. That movie was, that's it. You finally, first of all, I don't know why that was on the AFI's top comedy movies, Judgement of Nuremberg. I had that joke going all week. All right. Okay. That's later on in the show.
But we didn't watch Judgment of Nuremberg. We were supposed to watch Arsenic and Old Lace, actually. You went Judgment of Nuremberg.
Oh my God.
So we'll have 2 very different takes.
Oh my God. How are we going to do this? Are we going to each review the movie that we saw?
I don't care. We'll figure it out. Well, I certainly am going to let you talk about Judgment in Nuremberg while it's fresh on your brain. And
You've seen it too, right?
I saw it years ago, yeah.
How could I make an error like that?
We were going to watch it, and then it was like, no, it's 3 hours. So
then my Arsenic and Old Lace joke doesn't work then.
Not as much.
Now,
but I would argue.
I don't know if I want to watch it. What's that?
There's a certain war crime property to Arsenic and Old Lace.
I don't think it's a very good movie.
I didn't love it. Judgment in Nuremberg, better movie by a long shot.
Unbelievable and much more affecting.
Yes.
I can't believe that I did this mistake.
Well, now you've got it off your list.
When you said Arsenic and Old Lace, it reminded me of it, but otherwise I would never in a million years have picked it.
Yeah. It was just because it was next on the list.
Right, but my joke does not work.
No, it
had that. Well, actually, it does.
It worked for me.
You wonder.
I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow, he really didn't like it.
Well, we can, and also during that segment, we can also talk a lot about how I was in it as a kid in camp and how exciting that was. Because I was like 11. First of all,
is this when you did Arsenic and Old Lace? You mean?
I did Arsenic and Old Lace
at camp.
At summer camp, yeah. Okay. But I don't remember much.
Those are the best productions.
I was 12 or 13.
Right. Yeah.
Those are the best productions. Well, anyway, besides that, I did everything right, and I'm back here. And you can't get all the assignments right.
No, it doesn't matter. I think you still accomplished something by watching a great movie.
It'd be better if I didn't watch
anything.
There
was Nazis. You got your Nazi fix.
But I do.
There was Colonel Klink, right?
Oh my! You're not going to believe
William Shatner. It was like 60s TV. Went from the courtroom to.
First of all, he was not overacting, which is amazing. He was not.
No, Shatner was good in it.
Yeah. How can you remember? I would remember nothing from a movie I'd seen years ago.
Because it was Shatner.
All right, we'll get to that later.
Right.
I know people are chomping at the bit to get to that segment, but you're just going to have to wait because we have so much business to take care of first.
So much business.
Should we have a structure to the show? Like we open, you do 10 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, I think me doing 10 minutes first seems like it's not going to happen very often.
Is it because I'm very talky?
You're often talky. You often have to blow that first thing out of your barrel, the first coming in.
I know, the first few minutes, because here's what you have coming into this show. A lot of times you don't have it. A lot of times you have it, I'm here at 9:02, so I have a cat eating. What is it the cat has on his face? He eats the cat bird.
Grin?
Yeah, but he looks like...
bird-eating grin?
No, but that's not what he has, right? He looks like the cat just ate the canary.
Yeah, that's the cat. And he has a bird-eating grin on his face.
So he's looking. You're wondering where the canary and he's eating it, but he has a look like.
I'm wondering which one you are in this scenario.
Well, I'm not the canary in the coal mine in the sense that it took me this long to get a podcast together. I may be the canary who should have left the coal mine after the coal wasn't doing well.
I was going to say, you getting a podcast might be the canary in a coal mine dying.
Did you have to add dying to it?
Well, it's, fine point when you got a canary there.
Oh, well, okay. So let's regroup.
All right.
From what?
I don't know.
I didn't feel good when I woke up today.
Oh, and you're still belching and making gastric noises.
And the first thing I think of.
Oh.
First of all, it's nothing you can. Is that what you do when someone's drunk?
Yeah. It's
how dry I am. Why is that song connote drinking? How wet I'll be.
It's dry. That's.
I thought he was peeing in his pants. Is how I always took that thing.
You think he was proud of having not peed his pants, perhaps?
Do you really? Are you sure it's a drinking?
Yes. Yes, I am.
I hate that song. I also hate Old Lang Syne. Actually, I don't mind Old Lang Syne.
It's the song I associate with the scene both in cartoons and screwball comedies where the drunk sees the, let's say, prancing elephant or...
Oh, yeah, I see.
Then takes the bottle out, looks at the bottle, and then drops the bottle. And to that, the soundtrack to that is... that Gruber still quotes me doing that joke when we were working at Later 25 years ago, because we were working at NBC, and we walked out of our office door, and there was an elephant waiting to go on the Tonight Show, and I did that.
And he loved it.
He loved it so much that he still talks about it a quarter century later.
How about if it was me? I wouldn't have been listening that well.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't have gotten the reference.
You would have missed out. You would have gone, oh, I wonder if there's poop. I hope I don't step in elephant poop.
That is me.
I know.
Once I've seen an elephant. I do realize this is a book called Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I haven't read it.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things that I do take for granted from comic books that are like universal. For example, if there's a character walking down the street and he's looking and he has a question mark on his head.
Yeah.
It means he has that question in his real life.
You really got a lot of
But it works. It works.
It's a good book. It is actually a very good book.
And the other one is when you have an exclamation point in the air.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same thing. You have read that book.
Yeah, I have.
Why? I saw a good. Did you see the cover of the New Yorker? This cover of the New Yorker reminded me of me.
The Shoeshine one? Which one?
No, it's the one where they had. It's by Bruce Eric Kaplan. Who do you know him? He's a writer.
I know of him.
Yeah, he had 2 nightstands all the way piled up to the ceiling with books that the wife and the husband are not going to ever get to.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about reading right now.
Oh, okay. But how do you feel about television shows?
What do you mean?
I mean, same sensation, isn't it?
Oh, you don't?
Like stuff you're supposed to watch?
Yeah, but I'm starting to get, like, I've watched 3 Chernobyls, so if I won't tip it for you.
I'll have a total meltdown if you spoil it for me.
You mean at your core? Do you feel at your core it will bother you?
It would bother me to my core, yes.
And
I watched it, actually.
Have you watched all 6?
All 6.
And it's great, isn't it?
Yes.
The guy from Mad Men.
Physics wins, I'll just say that much.
And the guy from Mad Men is great. He played Lane on Mad Men.
Yes.
And he's unbelievable in this.
Yeah, no, it's well acted.
And I was wondering if I could do this kind of acting.
No.
Because, but you see
No.
that. No, but I'm disgusted. No. Oh my God, our friends are dead. Our friends are dead, Josh.
I know.
What should we do? You think it's something that's happening over in Chernobyl? Hey, have you heard about Chernobyl? Not good.
That I could see.
So we need Kindler. We need you.
Here's what I see, the scene I see. Excuse me, Mr. Kindler, we have to evacuate. And then there's just a vapor trail shaped like you.
You think I'd be around to hear someone say we have to evacuate? First of all, why'd they live near a place where the nuclear thing was going to melt down? That's just
a lot
stupid.
of choices. They were not rich with choices.
Has there been any nuclear reactor that has not had horrible problems?
Yeah, most.
Are there
vast majority.
I don't believe that. Are they still up and running? Are they up and running around the world now?
Yes.
I don't like that in one bit.
In some ways, I believe it's the only way to save our planet. But
really?
Yes.
Well, it's still dangerous, though. Like, did you see Chernobyl? These people. First of all, it's dangerous in a government in a country where no one tells the truth, like here.
Yeah, exactly. Geez, thank you, Mark Russell.
Oh, Mr. Bush, bang, 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 backa, 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 we got things, boom, boom, Watergate, gate. Remember, that was the best song from his.
Especially
I'll meet you.
Gate was my favorite.
I'll meet you at the gate, the Watergate. Now I'm getting laughs.
Saturday night's all right for massacres. Saturday night's all right.
Now you're more Capital Steps.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
true enough.
They have the 4-part harmony.
That's right. That's the deficit rag.
I like anything that's a rag.
Yeah.
But these people who are the Capital Steps, they're serious. They're still out there. And they're still doing that. Communism went worldwide. Boom, 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 boom. Have you been to a Capital Step? See, at least Mark Russell.
Of course I've been to. No, of course I haven't.
Now, you were a big fan of Jib Jab, weren't you?
Yes, I was a card-carrying jib jabber.
Well, I think that we've started the show very well.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel well today.
All right.
And
let's get back to that.
Yeah, let's get back to that. And here's my current quandary.
Old Jew medical update.
Old Jew medical problems. I kind of feel bad, but I'm not sure. Should I go to the doctor? Should I wait another day? Should I take aspirin for it? Can anybody help me with my problem? I'm a Jew who feels a little bit schmoopy. It felt good when it started.
It was,
I'm a Jew. Everything's wrong with me. housed by you.
It's your version of Kerouac.
So I've been having a problem. I have burning mouth. I think I've told you that. Burning tongue.
Yeah, I went to that festival.
How was it? How was it? I hate the part where they burn the tongue.
Burn the tongue, yeah.
Burning tongue was the first forerunner. If that was a popular enough disease, it would be a funny joke. Burning tongue is just, when it gets activated, it just goes. And every place I've ordered food from, through my DoorDash or wherever I order food, DoorDash, it's always too hot. Thai food, too hot.
Yeah.
Have you ordered beef Penang recently? So what is happening with me? Am I getting old and it's time to wrap it up? Or is real Thai food? I checked off not spicy.
Right.
And it didn't work.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's a case of it. Was it bland, or you don't know anymore?
No, it was wonderful, except for the Penang that was listed as not spicy, but was enough to kill yourself.
Okay.
You could kill your tongue and everybody around it.
Okay.
I not only killed but I also 4 squirrels.
It's just regular Penang.
No, but they said, but is it spicy though?
It's just regular Penang.
Yeah, but it's beef Penang by nature is spicy, right?
Well, you know, I guess there's a little bit of kick to it, but it's just regular Penang.
But Penang, that's what I'm worried about.
Extra Penang into it, you know. It's just Penang, you know. Maybe you should try some larb.
Beef larb?
Some larb.
Is the larb hot?
Larb's hot. There's some onion, but it's just regular larb.
Oh, it's unbelievable. All I do at home with the wife, all we do is ask if it's spicy without it being a bet.
I've been on the road with you.
There's no bet.
I'm the one who made it into a bet. It was never a bet with you.
That's right. Is it spicy?
I was trying to describe what my 2 weeks in Louisiana were like.
Well, it's too spicy should be one of our shirts. It is.
Is it spicy?
Yes.
Is one of our shirts, Andy.
No, you don't. I get it, but it's too spicy.
Okay, the sequel shirt. It's coming.
And as I said it, I'm sorry for sneezing. As I said it, I knew it wouldn't be a good idea.
I'm sorry for not blessing you.
Whew. Okay, that's over.
Burning tongue syndrome. Is it spicy? Because I'm afraid I have burning tongue syndrome.
I'm afraid of it. You see, you're young.
I'm very young.
What if, for example, a couple of months from now, I can't do the podcast because I'm dying? Would that bother you on some level? It
would bother me on many levels.
Right, but what's my point?
I don't know.
Be nicer to me in general?
Don't make fun of you because you might die later. I'm saying get it in now because it'll be wholly inappropriate when you're dying.
Yeah, but you're going to be the kind of person who's going to be doing all the jokes at my actual funeral, and everyone will think it's hilarious.
I hope so. I'd like to be that guy.
I would
pull that off.
But my wife, me and the wife we don't even have wills because we're too depressed by the topic. And I know you do.
I know you have no will.
Yeah, but you know, for example, Allison's going to pull the plug quicker than you can say Mai Tai.
Yes.
She'll pull the plug just by walking near it and kicking it.
I know. I have a whole bit about that.
I know. That's what I'm referring to.
Okay, good.
It'd be better that I hadn't completely forgotten it.
Sure.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of positives. So I got up at the second, and immediately I thought, am I going to have to cancel? Because I was like coughing sick.
Okay.
But not like where you can catch it.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because it's nerves.
Okay.
It's nerve. I've narrowed it down to nerves plus food that's a little spicy. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then I really did all I could think about was, what if I have to cancel? And that's where my problem still remains, even after all the therapy.
Right.
When you don't feel well, is your first thing, I hope I'll make the podcast?
No. I'm kind of like a day is a long thing.
That's right.
Like
that's
how I feel in the morning isn't always an indicator of how I'll feel later in the day.
Right, but then it gets into my other problem areas. You didn't give him enough. Let's say if you have to get up in the morning and go, Josh, I am not feeling well right now at 10:53 a.m. Okay. I want to log it in, so at 4 o'clock when you go, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, you don't say, you didn't give me enough notice.
Okay, but let's play that little thought exercise out to its thing. Is there, realistically, do you think there's any way I would say if you said I'm not feeling well, I have to cancel. Is there any realistic scenario where I go, you didn't give me enough notice?
If it was like 5 to 9.
Even then, honestly.
Is that what you're recommending?
If
for
you
future?
need to.
Well, that's very nice. Very nice. Yeah, it is. That's nice to know that it would not be based on that because I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I mean, for fuck's sake, Andy.
Well, we know from therapy that my fears of what my therapist is going to do, she doesn't ever, like if I'm late, I've been late, like I don't have a 5-minute grace period of therapy.
Yeah.
Which you should never have given me. It was a tremendous mistake.
Well, I didn't mean to.
I know.
You took it as a grace period. I meant it as polite conversation.
All it means
You
is
chiseled it into stone somehow. I can be 5 minutes late and I'm gonna.
I'm in the trial period.
I just don't give a shit.
Well, but the thing is that my therapist, I always answer the question, do you really think I will be mad at you for whatever I'm worried about?
Right.
And she won't be mad at me, obviously.
Right.
She says, it's your time.
Right.
If
You're paying me either way.
Right. It's your time.
Right. In fact,
What?
feel free to not come.
She didn't say that, but I could get a little, like a glint in her eye.
Right.
So,
Maybe come at 22.
yeah, at this point, give me some breathing room.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you woke up, you weren't feeling good, you were worried about my rage at you canceling. Okay.
Right, but then it started to feel, I didn't feel that much better it wasn't like where I started to feel measurably better. Except I feel measurably better. But here's what happens. I start to feel better, and I do still realize that 90% of it is mental.
Yeah.
There's 10%, you're nauseous.
Right.
And then there's 90% of, what should I do? Is this it? Is it curtains? Now, you might say to yourself, Andy, you're at the age where that's natural. No, it's not natural.
Andy, you're at the age where that's natural.
You might say that.
Oh, okay.
But you don't worry about that because you have your whole life ahead of you.
I have none of my life ahead of me.
That's the thing.
I have a small percentage of my life.
Right, and also, there's no telling what's going to happen. You've had things happen to you.
Hell yeah.
That had nothing to do with age.
No.
So my theory is, well, it's natural for me to be a whining, complaining baby. Everyone's that way. No. So where does that leave us again? That there's something. I think I'm scared of death.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's it? Like on a daily basis?
No.
Just overarching.
When you say daily basis, how much per day?
Like, do you, like, when you woke up and you're coughing, is like you're going, this is my death throat?
I worry about that. I worry about that because what if
here it is. Is it that?
It's more like, what
It's
if
starting.
there's a tiny percentage of that, which is what makes OCD not fun. I'm not blaming my OCD. I'm just saying that's what happens. Like, if you didn't have that part of your personality, what would you be worried about? You'd just be worried, oh, now I'm coughing blood. I suppose I should do something serious.
All right.
But meanwhile, you got me just constantly like this. What if it gets worse? It's like I'm a panic machine.
Right.
Like one time Susan was in a lot of pain about 6 months ago. She had a
Husband?
She had a...
Sorry.
It's good. It's good.
I like a good ellipses joke.
She had some kind of like a virus or something that was causing her tremendous amount of pain. And at one point, she goes, my knee. I said, well, do you want me to go get something that can rub on your knee? And she said to me, do something. Do something. And that is what I got from that exchange.
Right.
That I need to up that part of my game.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that was just you in that situation. Do something because I'm hurting to your non-medical spouse. Isn't that useful either?
Well, no, because she was in tremendous pain.
She was lashing out. I understand.
No, because she was in this case so out of it that do something was was fairly funny and made
I'm sure
sense.
it was funny.
Yeah, it made sense.
Right.
Because I'm constantly. She's sick. Don't go to ask her every question about what she needs.
Right.
But I will if you have a pain, I will try that thing where you try to target the pain. So you get that, you always think at one point, what's that aspergum? I always think of like aspergum or rubbing aspartame.
Yeah.
And most of those things don't work.
Right.
Usually the pain on the direct thing will work if you broke your ankle. Why don't you pick up
With
the ball?
ankle trend.
Yeah.
Rub
Why don't you
some
pick
ankle
up the
trend.
ball on this?
Oh, I will.
Yeah, yeah.
Any damn time.
Do an icy hot bit. Do you think that Kirby, that's his name,
don't
Shaq, does too many
Wow.
commercials? I don't think so. It doesn't bother me
Good.
because I love Shaq.
Good. I'm glad we put that to rest.
Well, I know that
finally.
we've had discussions before about how many commercials are too much, and I think sometimes you can just become annoying to America
Yeah.
without wanting to be.
Right.
But every day you're, hey, I'm Andy Schmoopy for Schmoopy Town.
him especially.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can make a decision, I don't have to do every commercial in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't always make a decision what kind of ad buy the people are going to do.
That's the problem. You can't, there's no guarantee.
Right.
There's no guarantee that your thing, that's my whole reason why I've stayed away from starring in sitcoms. I don't want to be in a situation where there's a hack line, ooh.
I know.
I don't want that.
I remember the whole inflatable hemorrhoid seat incident.
Hey, Josh, if you had told me that that it was something like
I like to call it the black ball incident.
Well, what was the name of that show? I'm Dying Up Here.
Yeah.
If you could have told me that, I would definitely, it would take off. Like that character had a thing on his. He was the guy who died in that show.
Yeah.
He was like had a catchphrase, and I forget what it was. Hey, Jimmy the mailman.
Right.
Here's the mail. Something like that.
Something like that.
So if it was something that was really taking off, like Kid Dynamite. Hey, or Kid, right.
Right.
Who was Hey?
It's from What's Happening. It was Dwayne on What's Happening.
Hey.
Exactly.
And what was
Not to be confused with Hey, which was Fat Albert.
That's right, which you don't endorse anymore.
Not at all.
You've stopped endorsing Bill Cosby, I notice.
For the most part.
In general.
For the most part. We still have the pudding deal.
Sometimes you forget. You have the what deal?
We still have the pudding deal, but that's, overseas only.
Well, that used to be the thing I heard was like people like Sting would do commercials in Japan.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
It's true.
Is there a reason why Sting would avoid overexposure here now? Does he have to worry
Not
about
anymore.
it?
Different days.
Why am I putting down Sting
I don't know.
all of a sudden?
Kind of a random
Sting.
target.
Fuck these successful people like Sting. I liked the Police.
Me too.
But I don't like solo. I'm not a solo. Hey ho, ho ha he, hey o day-o, da-day-o. Like that, right?
That's
Sting. That's the way his stuff sounds.
Kermit Belafonte you were doing.
He doesn't sound like, you could not saka ba do do, doom daka ding daka doom daka da, ba ba bo ba 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 ba.
Wow, I want you to stop.
Well, why do you get to be the guy who does good impressions on the show? Why can't I be the guy because even Lucky gave me a look like, what are you trying? What are you trying,
Sting?
asshole?
Really?
If you direct a movie,
Lucky just walked in. Here's Lucky. Here, what is it, Lucky? Message in a bottle.
Better.
That's
Even
better.
Lucky
Good
does
job,
it.
Lucky. That's very nice.
if you were directing a movie and things weren't going well, would you cut to the dog as much as possible, or would you avoid it?
I would have different animals. I would have lots of different animals to cut to. Is that my pet leopard? I just ordered it.
I thought of a funny reaction shot. You know how they always go, they shoot a reaction shot where, like, they'll show, like, a comedy, like, improv in the 80s. They have a TV show.
Sure.
And they show someone, they would show someone laughing. And if they were Chinese, if there was a Chinese joke, they'd show Chinese people.
Absolutely.
Right. So what I would think would be, like, you do a joke about Chinese people. They show Chinese people in the audience. And then next time you cut, you show, like, the Chinese Exclusion Act or something.
Right.
Really hard. I mean, I'm not, it's like, I thought that'd be a funny bit, but it's not as funny as it is in my own mind.
It's hard to pull off, but yeah, I don't think you can pull off a quick visual for Chinese Exclusion Act necessarily. But
I know, but just the idea that, the idea that we're showing,
just cut to Mickey Rooney and
that's all you need. That's all you
that was Japanese, I guess. But
yeah, but when I used to do the hack comedy thing about the hack book, being a hack comic,
right.
I did notice a lot of times people would laugh at the joke that I was making fun of, would not understand
right.
that
No, I know.
I'm half Jewish, I'm half
the
Italian.
Wrong laugh.
Yeah. And one time I went on Paul Provenz's show because he had a show called For Comics Only, which I think you remember that show, right? Comics
It
Only?
was just comics only, yeah.
Why did I say For Comics Only?
Because it's an easy mistake. I'm just clarifying for Perush.
So I was going through the jokes, like bad jokes, and they started laughing Adam in the audience. I said, they're laughing at my bad jokes. He goes, don't look at me. You wrote this. That was one of the first times in show business I got thrown under the bus.
Well, I've had a very industrious week.
What happened? Things are happening?
No, nothing's happening, but I bought a barbecue grill finally. And
I thought you've always had that.
no, I haven't for a while, and I've been meaning to for a long time. So I jumped in and bought a fancy pellet smoker grill thing.
And like, is it big?
It's big, yeah.
And then where will it sit?
It's right over there.
Wow.
And I've been, I spent most of the day smoking ribs today.
I can't even believe this is the difference between me and you. You're a normal human being. I'm an abnormal human being.
That's the team I landed on.
Yeah, but how do you have time?
Shirts.
Shirts and skins?
Yeah.
I could see buying one of those things, but within the same week or
This is
2
my
months.
third thing on it since I got it Saturday, and I cooked Saturday, yesterday, and today.
And that's so. All Allison does is she just enjoys the gravy of all of your. She does. You do everything.
It's good to be married to me.
Unbelievable. Would you consider us
I
having?
actually made extra ribs if you want to take some home.
I'm not the type person.
They might be a little spicy for you.
How about the time you gave me a roast beast? You gave me, and I said, "This is so delicious."
Roast beast?
No, roast beef.
Yeah.
Something. And I said, "This is delicious." Then you told me you got it commercially. You bought it commercially. It was like a prime rib. Prime rib.
No, prime rib. I wouldn't have bought. I would have made.
Do you don't remember this story at all? I'm mixing up the details. Yes, I'm mixing up the details. I don't have the ideas right. But you gave me something. I went, "This is so great," and we used it for sandwiches. And you went, "I actually got that online."
Oh,
Does it ring a bell?
maybe. Yeah, I don't remember. I made some pretty kick-ass ribs today, I have to say.
And what are the advantages for those who don't, like me, don't know? What is so great about the thing you bought?
For me,
Yeah.
who's not like a big hobbyist about smoking things and having to tend it all day, it is. It's called a pellet grill, and it's wood pellets,
Oh, okay.
and they feed into a heat. It's a computerized thing that keeps it at a very specific whatever temperature you set it at.
That's pretty amazing. That is not like a grill.
So like I can, so like today I smoked these ribs for about 3.5 hours at like 170 or something.
And you didn't have to go out every 5 seconds.
No, and it was just taking care of itself. And then I kicked it up. And so, if you were a hobbyist, it's sort of like it takes some of the fun out of it.
Right, because the hobbyist wants to constantly be basting or what?
Yeah, they just want to be fucking with it and fucking with
Yeah.
the fire. And, whereas I just want something that's pretty damn good. And I'm not making competition ribs, as they say.
But you could make competition ribs.
If I focused on it, I could make competition ribs.
You have no desire to have a competition about your ribs.
That's the thing, is I'd have to go to a competition. If I could mail in my ribs, maybe I'd do that. But they'd have to send me a self-addressed rib envelope.
I tried watching some of the ones on TV with the food thing. When I wanted to watch a food show, I really want to watch like here's how you do it. You take 2 tabs of this. And
you want to see some ingredients. And
Yeah, I don't want to.
Not something smoking for 7 hours.
Well, or you have to use gum, chicken cutlets,
Right.
and venison, and make a meal. They always are doing something that. Well, it's surprising you couldn't make anything good out of these terrible ingredients.
Right.
And then there's always
It was
Bobby
good,
Flay.
except for the gum. They say stuff like that.
I don't like what you did with the gum.
Right.
Now, the gum, why did you just put the gum on top
Right.
like a little piece? I didn't know how else to deal with the gum.
Seems like a choking hazard.
Is the gum spicy?
It's not spicy. It's just regular gum.
It's just regular.
It's just regular gum.
Also, you know who I don't like because he reminds me of Jerry Lewis in a bad way? Bobby Flay.
Just saying it, or he?
I don't. Something about Bobby Flay. I think my wife pointed out that she didn't like him that much.
Yeah.
No, maybe she did. She's something about that Bobby Flay gets to me.
Well, I'm your new grill master now.
Oh, don't say that because it sounds sexual in the wrong ways.
So it's a great grill. I like it. I know you're not interested anymore. You went off on your own little thing, but
Not really, because
I had like 15 minutes set aside for grill talk. But that's
now
okay.
when you get the grill, do you buy it online? How'd you get the bill?
I went to a store.
Is it okay? Grill. You go grill.
There you go. That's the one.
That's not bad.
No, it was good.
Well, they don't name them like forget about it. Hey, how you Is
that your Italian Vietnamese restaurant?
No.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it. I never worked on the joke to the point where I called it that. Right. But that's the idea. Are these thousands of dollars? No. But more than $1,000.
Right.
You don't have to tell me.
No, I came in under 1,200, and that was my number actually. Weirdly enough, it's like, all right, spend 1,200, and then I ended up spending like 1,140.
And you don't bargain with these people, right? No, it's a regular price. You did bargain with them.
I didn't. No.
So is it gas?
No, it's pellets.
Oh, but
it's electric powered. It's you fill a hopper with wood.
Wow.
Pellets of whatever kind of wood you want to cook with or smoke with. And then
what if I like mesquite?
Mesquite pellets. Come on, bring it on.
Is mesquite a pellet or is it a flavor?
Mesquite is a type of wood.
I'm so stupid.
I'm so stupid. So there are chips with mesquite. Like if you're doing a beef or something and you want a heavier smoke, mesquite's a good way to go. This I used more of an apple. I use an apple wood.
You want to know what's my beef? Is that what you're asking me?
I don't really. No.
I want to come over here for that though.
It feeds these pellets into the heat at the rate it needs to hit the temperature.
Once it's ignited, it's regular flames then, right? No. Or hard to tell.
Huh?
It's not flamed. It's just hot.
Basically, it's just hot. I mean, there is a flame, but it's more like a smoky oven.
Right.
But at higher heats, it's not as smoky. But if like at low heats, you can get lots of good smoke into it. So it's not interesting, is what
I think it's very interesting. But the other thing is, I never wanted to have an electric stove.
But it's super easy, is what I really like about it.
Allison does nothing.
It's easier than charcoal and more flavorful than gas. That's why I chose it.
When you have a gas one, what do you use?
What do you mean?
When you have a gas thing, they just cook it on the thing?
I don't understand. You're not using.
Well, you said you don't
words.
like gas. You don't like gas. You said. What does that mean? Why would you?
A gas grill.
Yeah. What do they use to the on the gas grills? Do they use things?
They use flames coming out of like gas burners.
But do they have wood on it or cement?
No. I mean, there's stuff. Yes, they have like sort of lava rocks sometimes.
Yeah. And we'll be back with more of. This would be a great show if someone asked terrible questions. Now, what else did you do industriously?
I started dubbing VHS tapes, digitizing VHS tapes. I finally cracked the code and figured out a way.
Well, you bought a device?
Well, I had a device, but I couldn't. Never mind. But I finally got it all set up so I can do it.
But it's easy. I could do it too, right?
I don't know.
Pretty cheap. Well, I did I was able to transfer my old cassette tapes.
Yeah.
So.
There you go.
But do you use a video recorder?
Well, no, I use it's a VHS, burning them to DVD and then importing the DVD and digitizing that to a file.
Oh. And so now have you seen things you didn't see before?
Yeah, I saw my teenage stand-up career unfold in front of my eyes. And
Are you going to put that on?
Yeah, we'll do a set tonight.
Seriously?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
You didn't see it, I guess. I posted my my 1992 Comedy on the Road set from when I was 20 years old.
I haven't been following what you've been doing as much this week.
I understand. I get it. So we're winding down. I get it.
No, we're not winding down. It's more like look, I gave this podcast 20-30%. And what do you want me? I went to the warning track for this podcast.
I'm going to be talking about my my teen stand-up.
Oh yes,
which was very interesting to watch because in some ways it was like, okay, you're pretty fucking good for a teenager,
right?
And that set, my Comedy on the Road set, I killed, and I had chops out the wing. I just didn't have any interesting material. I had good jokes, but no interesting material.
Right. And that's not surprising
for a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
No. But in some ways, I was like surprised by the amount of confidence behind it. At 18, like I can play a set from either 18 or 20 tonight.
Well, I'm not that surprised because you said that that's what you felt back then. You didn't have enough, like you weren't thinking enough about it to get nervous because you loved it. And is that, in other words, like you weren't?
Well, no, it's because I was actually a pro at that point.
Right?
Like I was doing 7 sets a week.
But when you got your first, but like when I did my first, which was Comedy on the Road, that was my first one too. Was John Biner?
Yeah.
And was there a celebrity A celebrity host?
No, John Biner.
Right, but he used to have a celebrity host.
No, he hosted.
I had the guy who used to pitch for Oakland.
Dennis Eckersley?
No, he's a black fella.
Fight a Blue?
No, no, he's a pitcher who said somebody couldn't.
Dave Stewart?
Yes. So maybe those were the latter. What year was this?
92.
Oh, okay. But I was so nervous before. I was scared. Do you remember not being that nervous?
I remember not being that nervous.
Yeah. I think that's just OCD. I had an OCD thing on top of. That's what made me very nervous, I think. I don't know. Most people aren't. I mean, I remember speaking to Kathy Ladman once. And I said, do you get nervous when you do like whatever it was? She goes, oh, no, I love it. And I was like, that's not me.
I'm somewhere in between there. I mean, I get a minor adrenaline level before I go on for a big show, but it's not panic and it dissipates quickly.
And you're not worried that you're going to forget your act?
No.
Yeah, which is one of my major things. Do you have any stuff that's from, like, in clubs, though? Probably not, right?
Yeah, I do. I haven't gone through all of it, but yeah, I do, for sure. I saw one set from Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Ooh. I remember playing. I played a David Tribble room in there, maybe.
That was a Hanson room, Westward Ho.
When you played Westward Ho, did you do any Ho jokes?
No.
That's good.
If only I had a time machine.
That's a good sign. I want to do this digitizing thing too because I have never seen my wedding. Someone made a wedding. Bruce Smith.
I saw your wedding. Mm.
So you don't think there's even any use to go back again? To look again? You got it.
It took.
Wow. Is this the first time you've seen your stuff that early in a long time?
Oh, in 20 years plus, yeah.
Man. And some of the stuff that I think I did is gone. Like, something, who's in King of Comedy, the lady? Sandra Bernhard. She hosted the A-List or something.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if some of that stuff is, unless I transfer it, I'll never be able to get it.
I don't know. You go look on the Comedy Central archives on their site.
Right. And anything else fun? I mean, anything else you discovered?
No, it was like, local news pieces about me and things like that. And, just shit that I kept on videotapes. So, I don't know. There's more to discover, certainly.
Yeah. I have a whole...
But I was just very happy that I figured out the process to get it from videotape to my computer.
Well, you just brought up a whole other thing of things I need to do that I'm never going to do. Old boxes of tapes.
That's what I thought, Andy, and now I'm dubbing away.
And it's easier than you ever thought.
I went down a big Orson Welles rabbit hole this week, too. Not his movies, like just interviews.
What were you watching?
The best one is one called The Paris Interview, which was 1960, which I've decided is peak Orson Welles as a person.
And who's interviewing him? Oh, you mean like as a creative person?
Yeah, or just as a person.
Right.
Because I watched, it seems like 1974 is where he went Full Metal Blowhardy. As soon as he got...
I like Full Metal Blowhardy.
As soon as he got the beard
yeah.
and got to the,
and met Henry Jaglom.
We will sell no wine until it's time look.
Yes.
He was full on sort of caricature-y, I would say. But in 1960, he was far enough away from his enfant terrible phase and, sort of humbled by where he was, but, still respected and still revered. But he wasn't, he was just the most interesting that I've found him. And in some ways, I almost disturbingly related to him in a lot of ways, too.
Why disturbingly?
Because I think of him as blowhardy, kind of. But he started when he was he sort of burst on the scene when he was 15 years old, and he was talking about when he was that young and as a teenage actor, but with this bass voice, how he was pretending to be 25, which I could totally relate to in my life. And the interviewer was like, well, how do you play that character? And it's like, well, you smoke cigars and lie a lot. It's kind of like, yeah.
Now,
I did scotch.
And who interviewed him?
Some Parisian intellectual. But it was interesting, It was very much about this guy who, art. He was very into making stuff and art, but it wasn't the be all and end all of life. And he conceded that there are people for whom, art as the prime thing make great things, but that wasn't him.
That's interesting because
that wasn't the thing he would fight the hardest for is art. Politics was more important. Other things were more important.
Well, that's like one of my heroes is Ken Kesey, and I always loved. I read the book. I didn't read Sometimes a Great Notion, but I read Cuckoo's Nest. But then he really did get interested in other things than just writing,
right.
So I think that happens to people. I mean, I'm not saying I love Kesey. I'm not saying he's made.
No, but he was leading, I think Orson Welles was leading a life, and I also just related to all the self-financing of projects and those sorts of things too. And when he asked a question in this interview of have you ever cast a friend where someone else would have been better for the part? And he's like, oh God, yes, of course. And I'd do it again,
That sounds great.
Which feels like me too, which is like, the thing is the making of the thing is important too,
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. He was interesting. He talked a lot about Citizen Kane and, Greg Toland, the cinematographer of Citizen Kane, and how Toland had sort of come to him before he was making it and asked if he could shoot it with him. And he had seen his plays, and Orson was like, well, why do you want to do this? Because Toland was like one of the hottest and best cinematographers of the day.
What was his name?
Greg Toland.
Tolan?
Tolland.
Okay. Oh, now that rings a bell.
So Wells told the story in several interviews over time, but the gist of it all is just like Orson Welles, didn't know anything about the camera or filmmaking really. He knew about the theater and stuff, and so he comes on set and he's like telling people how to light the set, and the crew's kind of looking at Toland, and Toland standing behind Orson Welles going, let him do it, because it's not a director's job to light the set. It's a cinematographer's
right,
job.
Yeah.
So Toland was just, quietly just letting him do it and letting, going behind him afterwards and fixing stuff, but making him, using his ideas and there's tons of things that Orson Welles would want to do that weren't technically certainly easy, and some might say possible, that Toland figured out. And Toland was very into depth of focus kind of stuff, and that that was part of the breakthrough of Citizen Kane, as that depth of focus thing where you can see people in focus in both the foreground and background.
Oh, okay, right. Which the new iPhone does, because it has two. Susan told me this.
Yeah,
it has two lenses.
Right, so it's kind of doing what they were doing in the day, which on a couple of the shots, which is compositing.
Wow.
But he also like worked hard on the lenses themselves to try to get, he believed it was possible, and apparently before he died, he had developed breakthroughs in that kind of filming.
Oh, Toland or
Toland.
Oh, okay.
So Wells was like, very grateful to his, and talking about how, Toland was making breakthroughs all these times on the set, but never acting like he was a genius about, still working fast, still doing it. And he just sounds like he was this like wonderful godsend.
Right, for Kane.
Orson Welles. Orson Welles.
Orson Welles, right. Yeah.
So it was interesting. And the humility of it, because people did throw, it was Toland who made it so beautiful, at Orson Welles. And Orson Welles seemed very sincere and genuine and, and humble about the contribution that he made.
So do you think, since we weren't there, it sounds like the image would be of the other people who are mocking it in a way, which was all, let's say, like, if you wanted to put Orson Welles down, you go, it was
being
all
dismissive of Orson Welles. But, Orson Welles' other movies look a lot like Citizen Kane, but I think it really was very much a combination of, like, Orson Welles going, well, why can't we see both these guys in this frame?
Right, yeah.
Going, well, we're going to try this, and Orson Welles just not knowing that the camera doesn't work like the human eye always.
Yes. Which I've discovered.
So what about Judgment in Nuremberg?
Okay, so. Okay, let's do that. Let's do it. This movie was one of the best movies I've ever seen. This movie I wouldn't even compare, like, to say it was one of the. This movie was had so much effect on me that it was pretty amazing, because they show in this movie how the scenes from the Holocaust, the same scenes that I saw when I was a little kid, that was very disturbing to me because I was too young to see it. And it kind of fucked me up for many years, because it was just like, here's a bunch of bones coming out of a crematorium. And this movie was the exact proper use of, it's a movie about the Nazis, so whether you know it or not, it's not surprising. You're not supposed to be a kid watching them. I'm trying to compare everything. I was so angry for so many years after not leaving my religion, but I was angry as an adult that what were they thinking without showing those to kids that young who couldn't understand what was happening.
Well, I don't think they understood.
They didn't understand
how to process this information, but never forget was certainly part of the ethos. And it's like, well, you certainly won't.
Right. Well, you certainly won't. And the thing, and the thing is like I couldn't not watch that part of it. And I've seen it in many other movies.
I always kind of took it as a sort of ethos of this horror was so horrible that we can't even spare children from it. Was kind of the ethos that I got, because I was thought about the Holocaust pretty young too. I
think my argument about not it being good for kids is because kids are scared.
For kids.
No. But the justification, like it's so horrible that kids should see it, I don't think. I'm not saying you're saying that was good.
I don't think it was good.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's a good way to dole out the information, but I think that's what I'm saying. Is
that was motivating.
That was kind of the ethos behind it, is what I'm suggesting.
Because I always think when I'm a kid, like, was that just a horrible thing that would have been horrible under any circumstances, or was it a horrible thing because I was so young? And I think I was so young as part of it.
Well, and you're talking about only 15 years after it happened, or whatever, when this was being shown to you. And it's like there hadn't been a generational processing of how to deal with this information yet. I really feel that. I feel like having been born in 1956, right in the shadow of it, that it was something that has haunted me and fascinated me my whole life. There was a long time in my life where I really did feel that it was behind us, this kind of horror. Yeah. Which is why it's so amazing to see this movie, because this movie was made for us today. There's this one point where, first of all, Burt Lancaster is an amazing actor. Yeah. And I guess I knew that he was an amazing actor, but you know how you said you couldn't stand? You forgot when he was swimming.
Oh, God.
Same guy.
I knew it was, but I didn't think about, like, who did we see was a little over the top that we saw? Was it Clark Gable, or? We saw somebody in one of those movies where like, you didn't
Cary Grant, maybe.
Maybe it was Cary Grant.
I didn't like him again in Arsenic and Old Lace.
But I was able to say now, when I was a young kid, I would think Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas, they were not the same people, but I didn't really know much about them. Right. So when you see Burt Lancaster, he is not, he's not over the top, really. I mean, he can be, right, but he's so reserved in the movie. And he's so, and Spencer Tracy.
I'm Dr. Ernst Janning. Oh, no.
The thing was, part of me was like, not knowing that you weren't watching the same movie, but part of me was like, you can't make fun of him. Like, this movie
it was a real good performance.
You're not going to put this movie next to the one with the tiny Hitlers.
No.
And in fact, when you see a movie like the Tiny Hitler movie, you go, why did they make that movie? Because this one deals with people saying, we didn't know it was happening and that Nazism was happening. We didn't know. And that's what the movie explored. Right. Was, did you know or did you not know? And the similarity today is that they also, and I've made this point on my own, but also people thought, like Burt Lancaster goes, and we thought we would play along with Hitler because soon he would be gone.
Wait, so you've made Nazi analogies with current day stuff before?
Well, I said to myself, this could open up a whole new chapter of comparisons or analogies for me.
Interesting little thought experiment. I'll have to work on that.
So, I forgot what I was saying, but anyway.
But I think. I mean, in some ways, I think that was the purpose of the movie, was to be a document for future generations. You know,
and it's incredible. First of all, Werner Klemperer is amazing. He's amazing. Everybody in the movie. Amazing. At one point, he did say Hogan.
What are you going to do? Send me to the cooler?
It is amazing. Why did Werner Klemperer have to play? Well, I guess he had a nice time on Hogan's Heroes.
Time. You know, if you're a Jew who has a career playing Nazis, you've done okay.
I forgot that he was a Jew. He was a German Jew.
So was Schultz. John Banner was a Jew too.
So that's from when the discussions where you go, I didn't like that show because those guys are Nazis.
I'm a Jew myself.
Hogan.
How could I be offended? I'm going to the cooler.
Judy Garland was great in this movie.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd known that she was a great actor, but.
All right.
What's that?
She had ups and downs, certainly, in her movie career, in her veracity.
Like where? I don't know that. I actually took it the other way. I haven't seen her in that much other stuff, and she's very convincing. That's all I got. Was like.
I'm just saying, there's plenty of times where she's very presentational.
She didn't do, how many movies did she? And she didn't do tons. I guess she did.
She had all the Mickey Rooney movies.
Oh yeah, but those aren't. But the thing about it was also when you see them argue whether they should at the end of the movie, you know, Spencer Tracy, he's not your running around with Katharine Hepburn guy. This was great. He was so great.
He's got gravitas out the ass.
And really, a guy who could just look at something and get and Richard Widmark was great.
Yes. Maximilian Schell, also very good.
Who did he played one of the Nazis, I think.
He played the defense attorney.
That guy, okay, that just shows that I know very little about acting because I recognized him, but I didn't realize I haven't seen him in time. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Was he known as being a great actor in general?
Yeah, he is.
Is he still around?
I think he might still be alive. If not, I mean, we lost him very recently.
He might be the best thing in the movie because he's arguing, he's trying to defend, he's defending he's doing we were just following orders and that these men were actually trying to make it better in what they were doing. They weren't the top guys, and he's unbelievable. He's so horrifyingly scary in the movie. And everything, the whole thing was amazing. And I guess it was important that I saw it because it really did make me feel it was made for today. I'm saying to everybody out there, I think everybody should see this movie now who hasn't seen it. But the people listening to the show are not people who have to wake up about Trump. So
and people have been. I mean, that's what great art is.
Yes,
you know, people have been watching this movie for 50 years, going, "This is about now." You know,
and even when they were saying it, there's a speech that Spencer Tracy makes, or somebody makes where they go. Maybe it was Spencer Tracy goes, even now there are people who are, and it was made in 1948, but I think it was about all of the McCarthyism. You know, I just had that feeling that he was addressing that.
Right.
You know, and
everything thoughtful out of Hollywood in those days had a little touch of that.
Well, yeah, because they were so close to them. Obviously, it was their whole thing. So I wish I could.
You're burying subtext. Please put the subtext away before General Burkholder comes.
And it was directed incredibly well, and he did a lot of things.
Stanley Kramer?
Yeah. And he did a lot of things that he would go from wide to close up, and it worked. It worked. And he did a lot of 360s.
Yeah, he liked to move that camera around.
He did?
Stanley,
yeah. So I guess one catchphrase that I would like to see that it's like an inside joke if you've seen the movie is more strudel, gentlemen. And that a couple of times someone said dispenser more strudel. Also, I thought it was funny that Captain Kirk was a captain.
Yes.
So I thought that was a little bit of the Tony, what's the guy?
When he went up to be a witness, they said, you can have the con. It was weird.
That was weird. So, hooray, I say. Hooray.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
And
I wish I could have watched it with you.
Oh, by the way, Marlene Dietrich, very good actor.
Yes, she was.
She was amazingly good in this. There was a scene where they were driving a car, and I have a feeling I finally figured out how they did it in the old movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had something running behind it.
Huh. That's you just getting to there.
So, yes. Hooray.
Yes. Well, I watched.
Yeah, you watched Arsenic and Old Lace. I feel
Arsenic.
bad now.
Yeah. It's dinner theater. It's not that good a farce. I think it survives as a production because it is, this gently macabre story, sort of Addams Family-ish kind of a story.
They poison people? Is that the idea? Oh, shouldn't tip it? I can tip that movie.
Whatever.
Arsenic is in the title.
It's two old ladies that run a boarding house essentially, and then as old men with no one to love them come, they believe they're providing the service of easing their pain by poisoning them and burying them in their basement.
Yeah.
But so ultimately it's a farce, and it plays like that, and it plays like a play because it all takes place basically in one set. And
who's in it?
It's Cary Grant.
Oh, it's not Jimmy Stewart. He's in Harvey.
Yeah. And it's Cary Grant in even more hammy mode than Bringing Up Baby. Even it's a lot of frantic kind of overreacting and indicating, and I really just don't. I love him so much in like North by Northwest, and that I just don't like him as a comedian though. I really don't.
Well, I don't think I've seen. We didn't watch North by Northwest. It's just a classic movie, right?
Yeah.
Is that Hitchcock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's weird. It's like, I know when I was into the theater, we used to do, like, that was the play that everybody would do when you were kids.
Everybody's done that play, yeah. I haven't, but I mean, it's been produced so much.
So much.
Every level.
So a lot of it, I'm sure you miss. That thing, I think you definitely miss out the experience that probably was in the theater when it was first out, where you could be fooled by those ladies. Aren't you kind of fooled by them before you find out?
Not for very long.
So the movie sucks. It's just a horrible idea.
But it's a Capra movie. I mean, it's definitely the worst Capra movie that I've seen.
Well, why would that be? I think then there's a reason to complain about that being on the top.
On the AFI.
How many times did you laugh?
The top half of. I don't know that I laughed.
Who were the old ladies? Ruth Gordon and who else?
No one who stuck out at me.
I feel terrible. Because you shouldn't have. I should have called you up. No, the thing is, I'm very proud of what I did. Once again,
I think you're better off.
I'm way better off.
I mean, I've seen Judgment at Nuremberg, so it's. I would have just watched it again, but
yeah.
Now I have another movie I don't ever have to watch again. So Judgment at Nuremberg were unanimous in our recommendation.
4 stars or whatever they call it.
And
don't go see
Arsenic and Old Lace. No.
No. I wouldn't even say it would be good to watch it, just on the background. Even it's just boring.
Well, it's the worst kind of farce, in my opinion, which is so many beats of it are based on non-human responses to things, to people just being obstinately stupid.
Well, maybe there's not 100 funny movies. Is one of the problems.
Well, it's a pretty subjective approach, but I don't know. I mean, His Girl Friday, I've actually seen parts of it. I know what we're in for. It's, 1930s bantery goodness,
And okay, we're going to do that. His Girl Friday. I hope I write it. Do you have a pen? You'll tell me later.
His Girl Friday.
His Girl Friday.
Yes.
And
I probably got a half dozen people going, "Don't give up on His Girl Friday." It's and then
I didn't know there were so many people into it.
I didn't know either. But
do you think we can take a break, or should we not take a break?
I think we absolutely should take a break.
Do you feel like during the whole show we should have taken a break?
I think there's lots of places we could have taken a break.
I've been talking about this podcast a lot in therapy, and this podcast is like a.
At least you're promoting it.
And we'll be back.
No, I want to hear what you're saying in therapy.
Oh, the thing in therapy that I'm dealing with is, it seems to me, honestly, that what I have, that my condition is worse in one, like that's what my fear is. Your condition is worse, is what I say to myself sometimes, because I constantly during this podcast am aware that I'm on a podcast and that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But now that's the way I am every minute of the day in a way. So my fear is that I'm just going to be walking around going, "Hi, Josh." You just said, "Hi, Josh." Like that bit from Saturday Night Live where Joe Montana says all of his internal thoughts. But I think it's more of a breakthrough thing. It's more of a breakthrough thing to become aware of what these things are and still let them go. Still let them go. Because I don't let them go is what the problem is. I go, I know that I'm not listening sometimes, but then I go, listen, just listen. I want to get rid of that other voice. Not rid of it, but you can't get rid of it just by trying to get rid of it. But there's some kind of acknowledging thing that maybe makes it go away in some way. Did I not explain it at all?
I wasn't listening, sorry. So let's take a break. Do you want to hear age 18 or age 20?
I want 18. Well, it's up to you. You make the call. What you got to decide which one you'd want me to see. I kind of want to see Comedy on the Road.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, that's 20.
That's 20.
Okay.
All right. And if you actually want to see this, I put it on YouTube. It's J. Elvis Weinstein on Comedy on the Road. But here it is.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes.
That's great.
J. Elvis Weinstein, we like to call it.
Originally from Minneapolis and one of the original writers for Mystery Science Theater 3000. Let's give a big welcome to Josh Weinstein.
It's great to be back here. Just got into town yesterday. Had a good flight in, too. I got off the plane to find the airline had actually lost all my emotional baggage. Feeling pretty good. So there's some guy in Cleveland who's really bitter now for no reason. Not really my problem, is it? Oh, it is good to be here. I've been traveling a lot lately. I get kind of depressed when I travel. Spend a lot of time in hotel rooms. You know, all you can really do in a hotel room, lie on your ass and watch TV, you know, which is fine, pretty much my normal home activity as well. But what's depressing about it is in hotel rooms, they always seem to put the television directly next to a big mirror. Lying there last week watching a football game and go, man, these are amazing, finely tuned athletes. This is great. I think I'll just watch Hee Haw. At least I have teeth. I watch a lot of TV. I really do watch too much, but I never watch good TV. Never prime time, only the really lame hours of TV, the depressing hours, late at night and daytime. Daytime is the worst. There's so much pressure not to be watching TV during the day, isn't there? Every 5 minutes a commercial comes on. Get a job. Get a life. Get up. Do something. Be a medical assistant. Dental. Electronics. Truck driving. Pet grooming will teach you. Get up. Unless you're injured. Wanna sue somebody? Stay down. But late at night it's depressing too. You get things like Sally Struthers 9 hours a night. That suicidal whine. Save the children. Save the children. For the price of a cup of coffee a day, you could save a child. Eventually the guilt really started to get to me, so I've stopped drinking coffee. You gotta do what you can. I'm a big believer in that. And phone sex, that's gotten out of hand. These 900 numbers, after midnight, it's just a constant barrage of lonely. Need a friend? Call me. Talk to me. Pay me. Oh, that's exactly what I need in my life. A friend who charges me $9.95 a minute to talk to her. I wouldn't pay $9.95 a minute to talk to God. Okay, maybe. But I wouldn't be touching myself. Unless he told me to, of course. Seems unlikely, I know. It's good to be back in Minneapolis. I do live in Los Angeles now. I moved out of here this past January. Too cold. 25 below zero when I left. 25 below. I chipped off a nipple. I did. I was opening a door, it just crumbled to the ground. They don't grow back. I couldn't stand the wintertime. People just get so ugly around here in the wintertime. We all do. It gets below zero and it physically hurts you, so we all have the same face on the street. This horrible Minnesota damn it's cold face. Hi, how you doing? And to top off that look, people go to tanning booths. Get that winter tan like they're fooling anybody. They don't work. Tanning booths, they don't. Everyone comes out with the same look. This weird, oogie, orange, nuclear glow. At this point, you may as well just stay home and roll around naked in a tub full of wet Cheetos. Pick up the exact same color. And a little bit of flavor. I hate the wintertime, I really do. I hate the winter primarily because there's too many holidays in the wintertime. I hate holidays. Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't like Christmas. I mean, being Jewish takes some of the magic out of it. I am Jewish. A lot of things Jews can't do during the holiday season, we find out. Jews can't drink eggnog, for example. It's just way too thick. Can't make that ha noise. You try, you pretty much just come up with phlegmnog. Not a good Minnesotan, really. I'm not a sportsman. That outdoors thing, I don't do any of it. Hunting and fishing. I've never hunted. I hit a deer with my car once. As close to hunting as I'm going to get. Horrible experience. Late at night, 2-lane highway. There are 4 reactions to go through when you hit a deer with your car. Number 1 takes place before impact, and that's... And you see the deer just frozen in your headlights. 2 would be... Ew. 3, does my insurance cover this? And 4th, is there any more wiper fluid? Pretty gross, isn't it? The insurance does cover it, by the way. They do consider it the deer's fault. Of course, I had to convince him the deer was drunk. Come on, he had all the signs, glazed look in his eye, stumbling around in traffic. His fly was open. I did find out in most states if you hit a deer, you are allowed to keep the deer that you hit. State trooper actually asked me, well, son, you want to keep it? A lot of good meat there. Yeah, oddly enough, of all the feelings I had during this experience, hunger wasn't one of them. I'll pass on the bumper buffet. I don't know, I'm just not into winter sports. Some things I don't even understand, like ice fishing. I did it once. I don't get it. I don't. You walk out on a frozen lake, just tanked. Drill through 3 feet of ice to make your hole. Drop a string in. Wait. Freeze your ass off. And this is the recipe for fun. To me, anytime you have to drill through 3 feet of anything in order to do something, that's enough of a clue that thing is out of season. Move on to the next sport. Scares me to walk out on a frozen lake anyway. I'm a pretty big guy. It's not always 3 feet of ice. Enough for me to go, Josh, why don't you stay on land? It's not worth it. You can buy fish. Frozen ones if you want. Because every year in the Midwest, there's a story about someone who goes through the ice of a lake, right? A couple of years ago, there was one that made national news. Little kid up in Fargo, North Dakota. Fell underneath the ice of this lake. You're applauding, but it's a tragedy. He fell underneath the ice of this lake, and he's okay now, which is miraculous, because according to the news, he's underneath the ice for 44 minutes. 44 minutes. Man, you see this, you gotta wonder, who was timing this? Why didn't the sick bastard give the kid a hand? Some guy from the Guinness Book? Go! Hang in there, kid. You're going for a record. Come on! Thank you very much. My name is Josh. Thank you.
Josh Weinstein. We'll be back with more right after this. Come on back.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed that, and I have some, first of all,
Do you have notes?
I don't have notes, but I do have. Well, first of all, you could tell that it wasn't an evening at the Improv. And I'll tell you why. Because the reaction shots were in the same club. You know what I mean? Right. There was even one time where they came off the audience reaction to you, so it actually had better production values than Evening at the Improv.
Yes.
So there's an interesting thing about watching you. Then is there like there are some jokes that are just as funny as anything you would write ever.
Right.
You know? So and that's what I also learned a couple times when I watched also, okay, I could be funny back then. You know, it's like Out of Season to me is like a very developy, it's like a non-comic-y joke.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. But the other thing is that the thing that you sound more like a comic, but you also are coming. You just happen to be coming from the time period. That's how comics sounded more.
I sound like such an 80s comic there. I mean, it is such the rhythm of the comedy of that time. And I'm just like I'm working so fast, and I'm just, you know, it's like I clearly had chops up the wing at that point.
Yeah, you did have.
Like I was really focused in on all the stuff, you know, and you can see how I got fooled. Because that set killed.
It killed.
It totally killed. And that's the set I basically came to L.A. with. And, you're a good writer, is what I got from that set.
Well, it's
because it was like none of that material was in. It was all good jokes and no interesting material. Basically.
There was interesting. There was, but I know what you. Well, here's the thing.
You have no idea who I am from that set. Really,
right. Know? Yeah, that's true. No, but
I talk about being a comic. I travel a lot. You know those.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm actually very pleasantly surprised by it.
Well, yeah, because it's good.
That, you know, that was 5 years in.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you know, from 15 to 20, I got to there. So I was like, that's pretty good, actually. You know.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, like, I
thought, you know, I could see a set like when I was 18 from a couple years earlier, you know, where I didn't have the timing yet, and I didn't have, you know, it's like a lot of the same material,
right?
But you know, I hadn't found all the nooks and crannies yet, and I didn't really have the confidence. I didn't have, you know, it was really interesting to watch.
Well, the other thing is that what you didn't do, which a lot of comics did, you didn't have the classic, like, formulas that you could say really look old. Like, how many, you know what I'm talking about? Anybody do this?
Yeah, I didn't do any
You didn't do any of that
polling,
stuff. You didn't have like a, who's with me on this?
Yeah.
That's all I do all day is think of this weird stuff.
I don't think it's there's nothing in there that I went, that's hacky.
Right. It's good.
The rhythm was very pedestrian.
It seemed a little like Leno to me.
It was kind of like, I mean, that was it. But that was the rhythm of the time.
Were you influenced by Leno?
I was influenced by everyone who was on TV, you know.
Right.
And everyone who, you know, I was a road comic at that point. I had just come off of 40 weeks on the road the year before that.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, you know, and I was playing, you know, landlocked states from non-sea to non-shining sea, you know.
I realize now that I did not have a lot of road experience. I did have a lot of road experience. I'm just trying to think the difference between me and you is I was completely, I think I could see that I was scared throughout, or I was at least thinking about the wheels were turning throughout my sets all the time. Like it was like a big, like you seemed very comfortable with the whole format, you know, not just because you were acting like comic-y, you were just comfortable.
Right.
You know?
Well, the first review I ever got, literally when I was 15 years old, was Josh Weinstein looks like a comic and has a perfect, well-rehearsed delivery. Now he needs to focus on less obvious topics than the subculture of News 11, which was a local TV station at the time.
But you know, the thing is, when I think about myself, like it's like all these jokes like that I would do. I would still do tomorrow a joke about.
There's 2 or 3 of those jokes that I've done in the last year just for the fuck of it. None of them made the album.
Right.
But there's a few of those. I'll do that hotel room mirror joke still occasionally. I'll do the, I don't.
That mirror joke is great.
Yeah, I've done that as recently. I've done that this calendar year. That joke.
Well, that joke does reveal a lot about you.
Yes.
That shows that's
self-deprecating.
That's self-deprecating, and also, so I don't know what I was going to say about.
It worked better when I was fatter.
That's the other thing too. Is like I'm reading this book. I think I told you it's called Happy Fat, which and it's just like a life.
My favorite Adam Sandler movie.
It's like an eye-opening type thing in terms of. But I've always been this way. I never have been someone who was because I judgmental about people. I always thought it was weird that people were judgmental about weight. But I don't think you looked like you always. I thought you were like really, really big or something. That was my image. The way you pitched yourself or something?
I was never bigger than like when you've seen me at Mystery Science Theater or
right.
Here I'd slimmed down a little bit.
Looked like you slimmed down a little bit.
When I got to LA, I was like, all right, I'm in a different league. I should probably take it down a notch.
Was it depressing when you came here because you knew that you had gone so far and then you didn't realize that you didn't realize what would happen when you didn't know what would happen when you got here?
I didn't know what would happen. I knew that the most likely thing to happen for me was a writing job, and that is what happened.
Right. But that happens.
It was really more, my stated goal moving out here was I'm going to get a writing job. My unstated but still present goal was to be a star,
Yeah.
But I quickly realized that, as we've talked about many times, it's, this was it. That was the act I had, and that works great at the Comedy Gallery in Minneapolis. It fucking kills, At the Improv at Melrose, people aren't as into the ice fishing, So, and so people did notice at least that I was a good writer, and I took that as an insult at the time. But my quandary was I knew I had to write a new act, essentially, and what I wanted to do was what you were doing in that scene, the alt scene, but I didn't have those chops.
Right.
I didn't have the life other than being a comic for the previous 5 years.
Well, you would have had to
dating much, it's like I didn't have laundry to air. I didn't think in terms of stories at that time. I thought in terms of jokes. Now I do stories. Most of my act is stories in some form. But
I almost gave away the name of the.
The name of the album is Chunks.
Oh, we've revealed it? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were burying that.
On pre-sale at July 1st.
When?
Coming out
what day?
July 1st.
So you can buy it before it comes out?
Buy it so it just shows up.
But it's not coming out
like
then yet.
Like a magical thing on the 12th. Boom, it's there. Oh. And you've made Josh happy.
Well, the other thing is that you were very, very, it would have been impossible to go a different direction because we were both trying to do the same things when we started, make the crowd laugh.
Right.
But you had better technique than me. So I really had trouble with I was so questioning myself every second on stage that it stopped me from developing a flow in a way.
I mean, we had totally different, because you started here where there was showbiz associated with the scene. It's a whole different thing.
It's so weird.
Than what I was doing where
coming into the scene.
Yeah, and there wasn't weight on every set, and there wasn't, it's like I was literally doing 7 sets a week. Even if I wasn't booked anywhere, I could get that many sets in Minneapolis at the time,
Right.
And then I did go on the road for like 40 weeks the year before I moved out to LA to save up money and stuff. So, my career up to that point was designed to work in Midwestern comedy clubs,
right,
and bars.
But it wasn't even, the thing I'm saying is it wasn't even like, I'll go to the Midwest and try it. It's like it literally came because that's where you were.
Right, but I wasn't trying the stuff out in a different atmosphere and then bringing it to the Midwest. I was trying it out
where you were.
Yes.
Yeah, so it couldn't have in a way developed any differently. Also, I think there was a thing where stand-up was just so overexposed. That was part of it. I used to think that the club owners ruined it, but I just think there was not just the club owners, but the idea of we're going to make as much money off of this as we can. But just the fact that there was a movement that major couldn't go on forever. It just was weird.
No, it was a combo of, I mean, mostly what it was is people saw way too much shitty comedy and got bored.
Yeah.
You know, and,
Yeah.
and it was a combination of in clubs and on TV because there was so much TV, like Comedy on the Road and Caroline's and Evening at the Improv, and that was just A&E.
Yeah.
And
then
there was
sonically,
Comedy Tonight, and and then Friday Night Videos became a stand-up show, and then it was just like
there's never been a movement that Hollywood didn't say. That Hollywood said, "Well, let's celebrate this new movement, but let's not beat it into a drum." They always beat it into whatever's popular. They decide, well, we need 10 more stand-up shows.
Well, yeah, we're there right now again.
We are there, right? Oh, I sent you that thing yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Bring the funny?
Yeah. Like I said, that sounds like Bring the Kindler to me.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even figure who's the person on the. Is that Kenan Thompson in that scene? I don't know.
I think so.
But this show, yeah, they are. I guess the thing is that since stand-up is never considered, it's considered as a. Forget it. Separate thing. I'm trying to think of like why would they? It's like Mitch Hedberg had that line when he got that he had a big deal, like $1 million deal when he got from Montreal, and they said, he's like, well, I got this big deal, and they're like, you're a comic, can you write? Do you write scripts? And it's like, you're a baker, can you do? What else do you do? Like it's like that's what he does.
Right.
So I'm trying to think if comedy always gets subjected to it being a low art form, but everything does. Everything is a low art form. I mean, not the ballet, but everything can be a low or high art form.
Yeah, I mean, comedy has a wide-ass range.
Yes. Wide-ass range. That was fun.
Yes.
To look at you.
Well, thank you.
How long was that set? It looked like 6 minutes.
It was like close. It was like 8 or 9.
Did they cut it, though, or?
There wasn't much cut.
That was good. Yeah.
We have a lot of questions here.
Let's do it.
All right.
Just before you hit the first question, here's what I wanted to say. I think I'm learning from the therapy is that whatever it is that's happened, I have to let it go. And I mean like every second I have to let it go. Not letting the moments go without learning things from them, but it's all I do is attach. My illness has to do with attaching to and prevaricating, whatever that word is, perseverating.
I don't know.
It means to go over and 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 over again. So when I can just remember, I've made so much progress just letting it go.
Yeah.
It just, you can let it go sometimes. And that has been a tremendous help to me. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't bank on it.
No, but, it's think less.
Yes.
It's better than think more.
That wouldn't hurt me. That wouldn't hurt me at all. Forget about differently. Forget about leaning forward.
Tweet Pahara says, Foster Brooks is Jake LaMotta in Raging Boo, Raging Boo, Raging Male Cow. I heard some stuff. Thank you, Tweet Pahara.
Thank you.
For writing the text
That was a
me.
good setup.
Makes things
That's
much
better than when
easier.
they just come and say.
Just do, two Foster Brooks and Raging Bull.
Do Foster Brooks reading the entire Bible.
In the bigger, in the at the start.
Even you got bored,
I got bored.
doing that example of it. So why didn't he get bored?
I didn't need to do an act out there.
Because he liked, what he liked the best part of his act was when he would get to be on the panel.
Well, John, the drunk character is very, it's trying at times. 80 Morgan says, Andy, don't be nervous about the colonoscopy or colorectomy or whatever. It's really safe. The only problem would come with the probe head after interior placement going haywire and suddenly jerking sideways. That can cause collateral damage. Hello, 80 Morgan, ladies and gentlemen.
Good job, 80 Morgan, because you went right into my sensitive areas and you pulled it.
And he took a left with the colonoscopy.
So, because I definitely got that image now of like I'm fish. They're fishing inside
There
of
you
me.
go. That's good. Peru says, I want to start a jazz rock Carnatic Progress Funk Fusion Band with Andy Kindler.
Oh, yeah.
Where do I sign up?
I'm ready.
AndyKindler.com. Sign up on the band mailing list.
Transfusion. Some people are still asking about transfusion. Like, how do you get a transfusion?
Ask your doctor if you've had transfusion.
If transfusions are right for you.
Seth Dick III says, what is the worst TV show you've seen every episode of because it was on reruns when you grew up? Alice and One Day at a Time are mine.
Well, that would be Wrong Generation for me.
Yeah. I saw Alice and One Day at a Time as they ran first time around.
Do any
Because
of
they
those
were on.
Were they pretty bad, both of them? Well, One Day at a Time I always thought was terrible.
I actually had more affinity for One Day at a Time than Alice, but I watched them both.
Well, didn't one of them have Valerie Bertinelli on it?
That was One Day at a Time, yeah.
How old was she, though?
She was...
Too young.
She was from like 12 to 30.
Okay.
She was on for a long time.
Okay, I watched Dennis...
That was my first TV crush, was Valerie Bertinelli.
She's so cute.
She was definitely my first
I love Barbara
TV
Eden.
crush. I like her too, but I met her at Dragon Con.
She seems nice.
She was very nice.
I watched...
But why would an 80-year-old
she's complaining about
be nice?
Dennis the Menace, I watched those, and they're terrible
Jane
shows.
North, that was a terrible show.
Leave
It to Beaver was a pretty shitty show, ultimately. It had good moments, but it was certainly better than Dennis the Menace.
I thought Leave It to Beaver was absolutely genius.
Yeah.
Now when I see it again, I realize it's not as good as I thought it was, but still way better than... I mean, it was actually a good show, like you're saying. It was pretty good.
It was okay.
And Donna Reed was a horrible show that I would watch.
I never got... The one that... Family Affair.
Oh, that looked bad.
That was one that I just like.
Sissy and Buffy and Jody.
Yeah, Mr. French. I couldn't figure that whole thing out really.
MASH, but
MASH
that's a good
I
show.
love, though.
Yeah.
You know, you can debate if it's a good show, but
Yeah.
I think it is, and I think it's still just such a unique blend of everything.
I'm trying to think of other stuff that
But you know, I watched everything. So there's way worse shows than One Day at a Time. And,
I watched Gilligan's Island for years.
Three's Company I've seen probably fucking every episode of over the years.
Yeah, and that passed me generationally where I didn't have to watch it in reruns even.
Yeah.
There's those shows I don't think anyone's ever seen, really. Oh, I hated Make Room for Daddy, even though I watched it all the time.
Yeah, I never, those were on like early Nick at Night.
Yeah.
And I never watched much. My dad used to make Uncle Tanoose references a lot.
Green Acres, I wanted to like more.
Green Acres, I never watched much.
But it's technically better than...
Yeah, no, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
And of course, shows like Andy Griffith, I still watch.
Yeah, Andy Griffith has merit.
I love
for
it.
sure. Green Acres, I think, has merit. I have lots of comedy writer friends who love Green Acres.
Yeah.
What was the other? Like Beverly Hillbillies was the sort of counterpart to that, which...
And Gilligan's Island, you watched all of those, right?
Yeah, over and over.
That was over and over and over. Those were like actual... I watched them when I was so young that they were just real life episodes. Oh, I hope they get off the island.
All the Croft Superstar shows were
what are those?
Horrible.
Are they claymation?
No, they were like Sid and Marty Krofft shows, like Sigmund the Sea Monster and the Lost Saucer and Far Out Space Nuts, and
they're campy. They're considered campy now. More
Dr. Shrinker, Electra Woman, and Dinah Girl. I could go on. Bigfoot and Wild Boy. Please,
could you go on?
I could. All right. Mark Thompson says, gentlemen, it was rude of me last week to ask you to create one state of the industry joke without supplying some topics. Sorry.
Oh, thank you for coming back.
So here's 3 topics he suggested. All right. The movement of all media to streaming services.
Okay.
Certainly a solid topic. The need for comics to have podcasts.
Right.
Certainly a viable topic as well. And TED Talks about comedy, which isn't really a thing.
Not a thing, but TED Talks are.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, I saw someone...
TED Talks are sort of passé as a topic at this point.
So someone did a thing like my TED Talk was that you? Was a TED Talk about Van Gogh's brother?
Let me see if it's funny first.
It wasn't...
No, then no, it wasn't.
It was I'm doing a TED Talk about Van Gogh's brother, because it's Theodore.
Right. Yeah, no, that wasn't me.
That wasn't you.
No, because I'm funny.
Well, what's the premise of this? That we write news jokes about it?
Last week he asked us, to create a joke
Right.
on the show. But I'll take those first two topics into the soup.
When we do it, okay.
Yeah, I've already started thinking and writing. So.
I have started thinking, right? Well, this thing with their streaming everything. I mean, this is getting crazy. I don't want to say it's getting crazy, but the show I was watching was available actually in the stream of a hose. Streaming. So when the water was on, all of a sudden I could watch Fridays. I don't feel so good. I don't feel good emotionally.
You put me in the mind of a urine stream. Really. Steve minus 54 says, curious what each of you are doing with the new knowledge that the moon is a part of Mars.
I actually have felt that this was one of the few times they should not have gotten down on him.
I agree.
Because it was clear
just his
what he
shorthand,
was. Yeah, because it was clear that he was saying as
part of the mission to Mars, they will go to the
So
moon.
that actually made me.
I felt the same way, honestly. It's like I didn't tweet anything about that. I was like, no, come on.
It made me not like people, other people in general. There's so much stuff on that you can get them for.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad we're on the same page.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the best worded tweet.
Cargo 21 says, could you guys explain to me the ending of Planet of the Apes? Were the apes trying to the whole time to blow up the statue?
Okay, can I do my impression?
Sure.
You ready?
Sure.
Yeah, goddamn, they did it, those goddamn apes. Goddamn you apes. The Statue of Liberty, my favorite. God damn it. This is my favorite place to visit. My favorite monument. Why? Is that close?
It was great.
Can you give me what are some of the actual words in there that he did?
At the end?
Yeah, he says,
you did it! You blew it up! Damn you all to hell!
Is it the monkeys he's mad at or all of us?
No, he's mad at mankind.
Oh.
He's realizing that he's on Earth at that moment.
But how did
they fucked it up and that they're in the future. So that they fucked it up so badly that apes evolved from man from that mess.
Maybe, but what if he found out, it just happened to have crumbled?
A planet where apes evolved from man? Get your stinking hands off me, you damn dirty ape.
And you said.
You once called me a non-furry human. What are you but a furry human? Miserable little ape. Crawling around upright on 2 feet with nothing but a broken Statue of Liberty. Well, you're worth more as an ape than a man.
If we ever get locked in a room where we can't get out, we're going to do things.
I'm going to Lionel Barrymore the shit out of you.
We're going to be one of those things like we're going to keep doing that same bit till it gets funny again, and then we'll die from no water.
All right.
Yeah. God damn it. God damn it. What happened to the statue? Here's how I would have written that scene.
All right.
What's this?
Who broke my statue?
Why is the Statue of Liberty here? It's much smaller than I remember.
I had this on a pedestal. It was safe.
Is that a true story in any way at all?
Is what a true story?
Planet of the Apes.
The Planet of the Apes, yes. It's all true.
Is it a good movie?
Yes.
Is it any of the follow-up movies good?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, plenty of people would disagree with me.
Right.
But not really. No, I think the first one's okay. I mean, it's decent sci-fi.
I remember being very excited at the end of the first one because I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. You goddamn, you did it. I know I'm adding the Easy Rider end to it. Is what the problem is.
The Easy Rider ending is they get blown off the road by guys in a truck.
No, the one scene where with Dennis Hopper, they said they changed we did it, and he goes, we blew it. That was an ad-lib by Warren Zevon. I mean, whoever.
By Warren Zevon?
No, it's Warren. Someone's named Warren Beatty. Have you seen me on Jeopardy?
I've seen you in Jeopardy.
Were you watching Jeopardy?
No.
I wanted to watch it because the guy finally lost.
Yeah.
You like that? You root for the rooting?
I was rooting for Ken Jennings to stay.
I know.
Oh, man. Chris Olsen.
Hi, Chris.
fellow former Minnesotan.
You goddamn.
Now in
Hey,
Japan.
you blew it, Chris.
Food question. Stale potato chips on top of tuna noodle casserole. Are they a delightful penny-pinching Scandinavian quirk or a vile cultural abomination that demands eradication? My mother's culinary legacy hangs in the balance. Your number one fan in Osaka.
I can't believe that doesn't mean we're big in Osaka, right?
No, it means
we have one person.
There's a guy in Osaka.
I think it sounds terrible to me. I'm not a big fan of food combining. When I say food combining, I mean when you chips should be alone.
Yeah.
I don't like even Dunkin' Donuts.
No.
Hey, that's how they got the name, right?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
You think?
I'm just trying to be funny.
Oh.
What's the operative word there? Trying. You're not going to say what you think?
Yeah, Chris, your mom's wrong. I'm sorry. I never.
No, you don't have to make it so
I'm
personal.
from Minnesota, but I'm a Jew. We did not participate in casserole culture like that.
Did you not bring covered dishes to things?
I did not bring covered dishes generally.
Were you shunned as Jews, even though there were many Jews near you, but you were shunned to some horrible suburb?
No, we were shunned to a delightful suburb.
That's better.
A place where Jews ran free, where Al Franken and the Coen brothers frolicked.
Oh, is that where Franken's from?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Thomas Friedman.
He's the best.
And Peter Himmelman.
And he's from that group. What's that group?
Oh, he was in Sussman Lawrence.
What? I think he was in The Replacements.
That's Paul Westerberg.
Okay.
He's not from Sandus Park.
Is there a game show where you get kind of the same answers?
It's called Thought Spiral.
Yeah.
Dan Wade says, the other day a friend heard me listening to Thought Spiral and they mistook Josh for a celebrity whom I will not name. Wow. That
That's
must have
scary.
been bad. Yeah. I would rather you named him, frankly.
Yeah.
Do people ever say that either of you sound like somebody else in particular? No, just someone generic, vaguely. People sometimes say I sound like someone non-disclosed.
I used to get that I looked like Horshack. I looked like Horshack from Welcome Back, Kotter. That wasn't a good time period.
You look like a pile of Horshack.
Too far.
Sad face.
Too far.
Sad face.
Too far. You went too far.
No, I never go too far.
That's what your wife said on your wedding night.
I am drugs.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Ask Salvador Dali. Enlightened Misanthrope says, what in Hollywood annoys you guys individually the most? Their lack of paying me a whole bunch of money for things that I just want to do. It could be anything. It's for me that the people in the industry say it's run by the marketing people. Thus, the products sell well, but are like potato chips, popular, but don't really do anything good for you.
That's what he's saying.
They're saying, yeah, that it's not. We aren't putting out nutritious product. I think is sort of
right. Well, I don't like any of that thing where I've never been a fan on any level of. I wonder if someone else will like it. I just don't think you can make anything good that way. I would never think of going, I'm not sure if I'm laughing, but would my friend Schmoopy laugh? You know, I just
Schmoopy a little.
I know I do.
You're overly.
It's not my night. It's not my night. I told you I could have gone all the way with Schmecky. Not my night.
Peter Lorre was in Arsenic and Old Lace.
He was?
Yes, he was.
Did he save the movie?
No, not so much.
That's not Peter Lorre. That's the Spanish
It
guy.
got a little Spanish at the end there, but Peter Lorre.
Oh, sorry.
That's Bob Dylan.
I'll say Bob Dylan. That's how I do my impressions. I'm Bob Dylan.
But I don't know. What annoys me the most about Hollywood is that it really is high school with money.
Yeah. It is very petty.
It's petty, and I don't like the flavor of careerism that comes along with show business.
Why don't you say it to me right to my face?
Andy, you're a fucking animal. Greg Kelly says, I seem to recall when Andy was on Evening at the Improv that James Mason was a celebrity host.
That's true?
Do you recall how he introduced you?
I don't, but he really was the host. Josh, maybe you could conjure him up.
Could you be the studio? Could you be the audience for a second? Yes, welcome back to Andy's Evening at the Improv. Yes, are you having a good time?
Yeah, we love it.
Oh, come on. I said, are you having a good time?
Yeah! Yes.
Well, our next guest is sure to solve that problem.
Ooh, you used an impression
You saw
against me.
him. You may have seen him on HBO's Young Comedian special, and then very little happened after that.
What? Don't do it.
But now he's here on A&E's Evening at the Improv. Please welcome a rotten, dirty swindler, if there ever was one, Andy Kindler.
I'm not one who says that people shouldn't do projects, but James Mason should not be guest hosting Evening at the Improv.
Are we having a good time?
Yeah. How about Mengele? How about if Mengele was hosting?
Welcome back to A&E's Evening at the Improv.
I can't get the young Hitler's blue eyes out of my head.
Please welcome Bobby.
Bobby. And Mengele. I'm Joseph Mengele. That's the only way I can.
I've been told that the man in the back with the monocle is a Jew. An insolent Jew.
How about do your impression of Bud Friedman as Mengele?
Please clear the halls. Please clear the hall. Clear the hall.
You twins. You twins. Get out of the hall and over to the lab.
Seth Dobson says, Josh, do you have a beef with Louis Anderson, or am I imagining things? I don't have a beef with Louis Anderson. I had a I was working for Louis Anderson, and it didn't end in the best way.
Oh.
It ended in a very passive-aggressive way.
Have you talked about this before?
I don't know.
Oh, let's talk about it now.
Nah, I don't really need to. Let's just say it ended with him sending me a check that I had been asking for, along with a little like a stationary snowy scene, with a little card with a snowy scene on the front.
Right.
And the letter was, "Dear Josh, thank you so much for all your help. This concludes our working together, Louis."
That's terrible.
Yeah.
What? Because he had left. He didn't pay you on something, or he was being slow on paying you, or
He didn't. Yeah. Yes. He owed me money that he didn't think he should have to pay me.
oh, because the
And then
project
he
was
eventually
over,
did,
and then he cut you
but
off
he
at the
didn't
knees.
want to. Yeah.
That's bad.
But I'm,
Yeah, it's over.
it was a long.
You
time
too would
ago.
still be.
It was a long time.
If you got in a room now, you probably still would be
I have been in a
uncomfortable.
room with him
And he was
several
nice.
times since.
And
yes,
he was
it's all
fine.
Luke Holly says, so Josh, you say pot edibles never work for you. Not ever. Not even once. Bummer, man. P.S. Can't wait for chunks.
That seems like something's going. Like he's upset. They're upset that you don't get high from it. I don't get high from vaping, but you get.
Well, Luke
high.
Holly is the one who gave me the edibles in New Jersey when I was on the road. So he has, that's his, and I gotta say, Luke, I was, there was a sense of wonder in the car that it wasn't working on me from Segura, and
Oh, because they were high.
no, because they were just like, they didn't take it.
Oh, right.
They were watching me, and it wasn't affecting me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the gift, and I apologize that it didn't actually work on me.
Well, edibles do work on me, but vaping doesn't work on me. That's what I've tried it again.
Vaping works on me way better than edibles.
It's so weird. Well, edibles, the problem is that they build up in your liver and things, and it takes longer to get it.
Yeah, it just never happens.
Yeah. It never happens.
It never happens.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That means it goes so much into your body that you just don't feel it somehow.
Okay.
You know what? Please don't
Can I
use
cut you
me
off?
for no theories. Never let me have a theory.
All right. Fair enough. Seth Dick the Third says, if I designed a red and juicy T-shirt, would you sell it on Zazzle?
I would not sell it because I would know that it's not. People wouldn't know what it was.
Right. And you'd have to explain it as, that's my hemorrhoids.
You mean that's part of the shirt?
Are my hemorrhoids spicy?
That's you on our last writing day.
Yeah. Michelle Wisecarver.
Hi, Michelle Wisecarver.
Josh, when I'm listening while driving and your coffee maker shuts off, which happened tonight, I think my car's collision warning system is sounding, and I scan the road frantically for deer. Thanks for keeping me alert. Also, do you guys enjoy art and have a favorite painter?
Well, first of all, I didn't know that you could hear
I hate
it.
art.
I love art. And I do have a favorite painter, and it would probably, I think I would have to go with Van Gogh, as they call him. But I do love art, and we just saw the Robert Rauschenberg exhibit.
Oh, you did end up
and it was
going.
great. It was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of art, and yet don't know as much as I'd like to know about it, and not like technically know, just see more.
Yeah. I think my favorite artist is my stepson, Ilan Etzioni.
He's great. He's brilliant.
But I was into I'm kind of into Chuck Close and the stuff he's done. I liked Dolly a lot when I was growing up, and I liked Magritte a lot when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I tend to like stuff that there's some idea for me to chew on, aside from an aesthetic.
Right. Like conceptual art more?
Sometimes conceptual art, or just sometimes, I don't know. I like to be able to feel an idea. I guess I like some sense of process.
Right. I see what you mean.
I don't, I connect the act of creating. This is true when I watch stuff too. The act of creating it is part of how I experience it. So,
right.
And that's true with canvases too, as I do imagine the process of how they got to that.
Yeah, I like the Impressionists a lot. And I also
Like Rich Little.
Yes. And I also love this guy. I think his name's Thibault. He paints like cakes. You've seen his stuff like cakes and things. So I less like abstract. I used to love like Pollock and stuff. I less like that now.
Right.
Because I do, in a way, like there to be some kind of more focus than just decorative sometimes.
Right.
Because Pollock looks decorative.
I'm still trying to think of the person I'm thinking of. He was Lucian Freud. I think they were lovers with at one point. I also like Lucian Freud a lot.
I don't know. I know the name. It's related to Freud, right? Her daughter.
It's a man, and it's I think a nephew.
Are you talking about a man that you like that you can't remember the name?
Yes, I'm trying to think of the name of the artist. It'll come to me or not.
I have a feeling I was going to substitute the name of the guy I like.
Yeah. But I do like art, and I like art museums a lot. I like it's a good couple hours well spent for me always.
We went to LACMA. I hadn't been there in a long time, and it was just so much fun. I would go more if I had more time.
Hient says America has its inevitable modern-day civil war because of Trump and all the brave souls who oppose him. The country is left uninhabitable. Where are you going? You can't say Canada.
I can't say Canada. Then I would say London or France. France or England. How about you? Where do you think?
Probably England, but or Ireland, with because my wife has peoples there.
Yeah,
in both she has, which also makes me think maybe Hong Kong.
Right. Yeah. I don't think you could live in Hong Kong.
I like Hong Kong a lot. It's really expensive. It's crazy expensive, but
wow.
It's not going in a good direction right now because
of the mainland.
It's getting more grip tightened by the mainland.
Is that true?
Yeah, there was huge demonstrations this past week.
Oh wow!
Because there's an extradition law that people can be extradited to China now from there.
Oh, that makes it more nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Chaotic Neutral says, hey guys, turns out Mike Huckabee has a late-night style talk show that is precisely as terrible as you would expect it to be. He's like William Shatner without the acting talent. Josh, you were able to make AFV funny. Could you do the same for the former governor? Not at this point. I would have said yes maybe 5 years ago.
There's nothing fun about him anymore.
Yeah, at this point.
Even to mock.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that show. He just plays bass and stuff. It's on the TBN or...
TNN?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. He's had that for a few years. He's just a horrible human being. He's a horrible human being, and his daughter is maybe worse than him. They're both terrible, terrible humans.
Yeah.
And he's particularly despicable because he sold himself for a while as not being that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of the reasonable guy.
Yeah. I hate him. I've come to hate him as well.
Did you used to like him? You liked his bass playing.
There was just a moment there where when he was governor of Arkansas. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like him.
He's
for a
gotten
while.
worse.
I never liked his politics, but I did think, he's a human being.
And I think he's
lost
no
that
longer.
status now.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. They've gotten so much worse. See that Nuremberg movie,
Right.
and see if you like the Nazis as much as you claim. No?
Huckabee, I'm taking you to the cooler. Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Does Bill Maher believe in God now after being murdered by Katie Porter?
I heard about this. I didn't see it, but I heard he got his head handed to him by a...
Not really. What he really did was show what a thin-skinned pussy he is.
Oh, really? Tell me what happened.
She just got a couple of wise, he was talking about abortion, and she said something like, I don't know why, since your mother chose to have you, I don't know if we're better off, or I don't remember what she said, but it got a big cheer from the audience and a couple of people on the panel. So his narcissistic hackles got raised.
He got mad?
Yeah, he just couldn't. He didn't take it good naturedly,
And then he went yelled back at her.
Not really, but he told the audience to fuck off. You can go watch another. But it was really like, here's a guy who can't take a fucking joke about him.
I think he's getting more wound up.
Yeah.
I just have some inside information, not so inside, but he seems more wound up than he used to be.
Yeah.
But also, they were pointing out online that I think he's never had, not maybe one, or never had the woman writer in his room forever, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's a white male reality show for sure. Yeah, I think it's mostly been the same writers for years and years and years.
His ship has sailed, and I used to like that show, so I take no pleasure. Yes, you do. I take no pleasure in rooting for him to fail. Yeah, you do, Andy.
That's all you take pleasure
That's all
in.
I take pleasure in. That's the only pleasure I have is other people failing.
That's right. They should call it Andy Freude. T. Wright 76 says, did you guys hear Andy referenced in the most recent Inside Conan podcast? Does Andy remember pointing to an audience member and saying, this guy hates me?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I think someone told me they were talking about me.
Yeah.
In something. This guy hates me. It was when Jerry Van Dyke was on the panel, which was so much fun. I kind of thought I bombed, which I always thought I bombed, and he was just laughing because he at the part of it where he thought I bombed, he couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah. So it was Jerry Van Dyke who hates you?
No. I was someone in the audience. And that guy hates me.
Gotcha. Yoshi is back to ask, Andy, do you feel like there's an empty calorie element to the true crime podcasts?
Yes.
Similar to playing a video game. It's entertaining, but it doesn't necessarily progress you as a human.
It depends on the one that you're listening to. For example, I just heard one where it's called, I think it's called To Live and Die in L.A. or something like that. And they were talking about a concept called trauma bonding. Yeah. That if you are in if you come from a household that's abusive, you start to associate love with being abused.
Right.
And that I thought was good. So those type of things I really do love about it. But like anything else, it's just a matter of saturation. I don't think it's more. I see why I like it, but it's just a matter of finding different things about it and not just watching. But I can definitely see where you overload on everything.
Right. Stand By Your Man says, by the time Josh is reading this, you'll have talked about Arsenic and Old Lace, but while just now looking for it online, I see there's also a production of it with Tony Randall and Boris Karloff. Nice. How amazing is that going to be after I watch the Cary Grant one? I bet you don't watch it after you watch the Cary Grant one, but if you did, I would wish I saw that one instead.
Man. Thank you, old plays.
But that's a little weird because like one of the references in the thing is the brother character who looks like Boris Karloff, kind of, who looks like a movie monster character. It's like a running gag in the thing. So.
Yeah. Who's this?
Ed Asner constipated?
No. Come on. It's the monster. Frankenstein's monster.
Oh. I never would have gotten that. I still think it's constipation.
I don't do those type of jokes.
You do. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
Michael O'Connor says, hello, guys. Just a quick note from the last podcast. You're absolutely correct, Josh. I like this. The Joe Mean was a Kevin Pollak piece. I didn't have enough room to give him the credit, though. Love your show.
I don't. Oh, your doggy knows I'm leaving soon, probably.
This is wishful doggy thinking. Mad City Architect says, we're recommending the movie The Quiet Man with Maureen O'Hara, Barry Fitzgerald, and a young John Wayne for homework. I've seen it, so it's off the homework table, but it's worth seeing. It's a good movie.
Is it going?
Yeah.
I'll see it. It's John Wayne?
It's light fare, but yeah.
Okay. Is it good of its kind?
It's Irish. It's Irish.
Okay.
It's very Irish.
I don't like Irish things.
Guy Incognito says, I hear Joseph Mengele once ordered from a kosher deli and James Mason was working the counter. How did the order go again?
That's amazing, though. Did that really happen?
I think it's an apocryphal story.
Oh, okay.
I think it's urban legend, but the urban legend goes where Mengele walks in.
Yeah.
And goes, I'm looking for a kishka. I'm sorry, we don't have kishka today. We do have kreplach. Well, I'm not in the mood for kreplach, but how about some kasha varnishkish? Well, we have the kasha, and we have the pasta, but we haven't varnished it yet. Do you like a strudel? I'm not in the mood for a dessert right now. How about a kugel? A kugel sounds good. Is it savory or sweet? It's a savory kugel. Perfect. I'll take it to go. There's Jews here.
Good button. There's Jews here. I love their food. But I'd like to...
I can't stand them, but they make a good kugel.
They make a nice sandwich.
So that's our show for the week.
It was a great show today. I'm very proud of both of us.
Me too. Do you have anything to promote?
Only if I'm in Calgary.
You're coming to Calgary at that festival that you can't remember the name of.
It's called the Shed Line.
If there's a festival called the Shed Line or the Sled Line.
When's it coming out?
Calgary,
when is this coming out?
This is coming out a week from today.
Oh, okay. So check me out in Calgary.
This is coming out the 17th.
I'll be in Calgary very soon after that.
All right. Coming next week in Calgary. Also, my album release is coming up July 1st.
Are there pre-sales?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Comes out July 12th. It's called Chunks. I'm looking forward to sharing that with all of you.
Yay.
Particularly after my stand-up from 30 years ago tonight. Thanks for coming. Go get a shirt at Zazzle. Go to iTunes and rate and review us. And let's all come back and get together next week and do it again. How about that, huh? Except next time we'll do it entertainingly.
That's going to be the one we stick with.
Good night.
Good night.